He thought it was a theme park. Don't know why he thought that.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing any roller coasters or ghost
No.
trains. Or,
But-
well, some
Hey.
ghost boats in a bit.
And train.
Oh, and trains.
Hello and welcome back to Can't Believe You Haven't Seen, the podcast where we introduce each other to something new, whether it be a film, TV show, or something else. With Daniel.
And Daniel.
This week, I can't believe you haven't seen Spirited Away. So let's talk about that.
Yes.
You now have seen Spirited Away.
I have.
So actually, before we go onto Spirited Away specifically, I wanted to ask you what Ghibli films you had seen beforehand and what you had thought about these Ghibli films.
Well, if you
if
recall last week's episode, I
Mhm.
said that I've never seen any before.
You have seen one before. You've seen Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yes. Sorry, I tend to tune that out.
Okay, so you you don't like them then? You didn't like that one?
I don't remember really anything about Kiki's Delivery Service other than
It's a good sign.
I didn't enjoy it very much at the time, I don't think. Before I give my opinion on Spirited Away,
Yes.
I would like to know what you think about it.
Okay.
Just because, obviously you like it to a certain extent, otherwise you wouldn't have
Indeed.
suggested it. But, do you love it? Is it just, it's alright? Or,
Well, it's tinged by nostalgia because I watched it with my sister when I was younger.
Okay,
Same with Kiki's Delivery Service.
fair enough.
I enjoy it. I don't love it. I don't think, it's an amazing film, but I think it's an enjoyable little 2-hour trip, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a feel-good film for me.
Okay.
I'd watch it and I'd just be like, yeah,
Yeah,
I feel good now.
that is what a feel-good film is.
But I'm going to assume now that from that you didn't enjoy it.
No, I did not.
Okay, well, our first opposing opinions on this
I know.
podcast.
Which, I mean, obviously I'm in the minority because it's a universally beloved film. I had a cheeky look on IMDb.
It's pretty high. I
Yeah,
believe.
it's on the, I want to say, in the top 30. I think it's in the 20s for
I didn't realise that.
best films. So, yeah.
So why didn't you like it? Or do you want to go through it?
I think let's go through it because my enjoyment of it deteriorated as it went on.
Okay.
So, but before we get straight into it,
Mm-hmm.
I did because I watched this on Netflix.
Same.
And oh, you did?
Yeah.
And the little description on Netflix says it's the highest grossing film in Japanese history.
Yeah.
Which
It was the first film to make $200 million before going into the America cinemas.
wow.
So,
And that just stood out to me because I wasn't sure when I had to look it up, but I wasn't sure if it meant it was the highest grossing film in terms of worldwide box office to come out of Japan, or if it
Mhm.
was highest grossing in Japan domestically. I mean, it could be both, but what it means is highest grossing in Japan.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just interesting because you wouldn't get that here, obviously. Like, I mean, it's interesting how culture is different because they're big on animation over there,
Yeah.
and so like a film like that can be their highest grossing. It's just interesting, especially because over here, we're just used to the standard blockbusters. That's what makes the
It's
big
true.
monies.
Yeah, I feel like part of that popularity is because it penetrated like American markets. No, because it was popular in
Yeah.
other countries, which probably made it more popular in Japan because they were like, "What's this all about?"
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was the number one.
And it made me go off on a little tangent. Because I was thinking, well, what's the highest grossing film in the UK?
Okay,
And I had
This will
a
be
quick
interesting.
look, and
can I guess?
Go on.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's The Force Awakens, but
Yeah.
2 and 3 are Skyfall and Spectre, respectively,
Huh.
which is interesting because obviously English films
Yes.
being bombed. So I suppose that sort of national pride just is everywhere, really.
Well, everyone loves a good James Bond movie, don't they? Or even a bad one.
That's true. But anyway, yeah. So
So going off of that,
sorry, just one thing. Were you subs or dubs?
This is my question.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually going to ask you first. So you
Okay,
should answer
fine.
first. Did you watch it with English dubbing or English subtitles and Japanese dubbing?
I watched the Japanese audio with subtitles because I'm a very cultured individual.
Same, actually.
Well,
But it was the first time that I had done that. So I've seen it in both English and Japanese now. And I prefer the Japanese language.
Oh, really?
one, I think. Yeah. Because I switched halfway through for a bit to the English. It just didn't feel, just felt
almost like these characters shouldn't be English.
almost, yeah. It just felt like soulless is
Oh,
the
okay.
word. Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I probably should have had a quick listen to the English audio, but I didn't.
You should.
But often whenever I hear English dubs, particularly of things that come out of Japan from like anime that I've watched in the past and other things like that, or if it's a Japanese video game that allows you to switch between the different languages, the English is always quite cringy. It's really over the top, and
I thought it was under the top.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So,
well, I can't comment.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't really compare it that much to the English version. But in future, I would watch it with Japanese audio. So, even though I've always been an English audio man.
Well, you are English.
Yes, I am. So the film, then, it's a few fun facts because I immediately remembered how good this film looked, in my opinion. It's a very beautiful film.
Gorgeous.
Hand drawn.
Yes.
24 frames per second, hand drawn.
Is that a lot for animation? That's
for hand drawn. That's
how we shoot live action films.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
pretty insane.
And you can tell.
Yeah, it looks great, and that's like 2 hours of 24 frames of hand drawn animation. That must have taken a while. So very impressive from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, one of my praises of this film is how it looks. It's very fluid.
Yeah.
And it just, the world especially is like so alive. There's always smoke or steam. Like water is always moving if it's in frame. Like wind is always like moving through grass or blowing in a character's hair. Like it has this really lively quality about it.
You almost can't believe that it's hand drawn because it looks that great. So, well, going off of that, just one thing that I noted down is that when the parents, I know I'm skipping forward a bit, maybe, when the parents are eating that food in the buffet, that looked crazy good. That made me hungry. I had no idea what any of it was, but I was like, I want some of that. Maybe you don't concur.
No, I didn't.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry.
All right. Well, so they're going to a new house or something.
They are.
You say that like it's controversial.
Just because I got quite confused.
Okay.
Straight away.
Please elaborate.
Because they're driving.
Yes.
They see the house upon the hill.
Yes.
Or at least what they think is their house. Is it their house?
Probably. Dunno.
And it's like, it's that blue one up there. And then they start cutting through somewhere.
They take a shortcut to the forest.
And they find that tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's probably a magic tunnel, isn't it?
I guess.
That's why they come out.
Yeah.
On the other end to somewhere that is not the place where they were.
Well, no, it's magic.
That probably answers my question then, because I was just like, how did they end up here? I don't understand. But
I don't even know if they actually existed. Who knows? Maybe it was all a dream.
Oh, don't. How awful.
It was pretty funny when it went all intense. Like when he was driving, like there was this intense music, and it's like he's just driving a car through some like country roads. I found that a bit weird. He thought it was a theme park. Do you know why he thought that?
I wasn't seeing any roller coasters or ghost trains. Well, some ghost boats in a bit.
And trains.
Oh, and trains. Well, one quick note about the animation, just quickly as well. There's that when I really first took note of how nice it looks was when I sort of came to the end of that tunnel, and there's that circular window with the 4 colours, and there's light streaming through it.
Oh yeah.
And it just looks so nice, and I was like, damn, this is pretty.
Yeah. There were multiple points during that where I wanted to take a screenshot and set it as my wallpaper. But then Netflix doesn't let you do that, so but that's a whole nother podcast.
A whole other podcast.
If you try and take a screenshot of the Netflix screen, it just makes it black. Did you notice that the spirits, the dudes, the ghosty people, they were like, I feel like they were like half, like the animation was like 12 frames a second or something. They were like a different frame rate. They were like,
Oh, I didn't notice that. Were they? Do you...
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
pretty, yeah. I'm gonna double down and say yeah,
Well, okay.
because they looked like it.
No, I didn't notice, but
I thought it was pretty cool. Made them look out of place, but in a good way, because they're like spirity, ghosty people.
they are. Really makes you think. So they're in this, what they think is an abandoned theme park, and the parents immediately start stealing food,
Yeah,
which I was like,
that's what I always
wow,
do.
these are a pair of gluttons over here. And then all the weird stuff starts happening, and she runs back to her parents. And
Mhm.
at first, because their backs are turned, I thought they'd suddenly become very overweight. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's dumb. But then they turn around and they're pigs. And I was like, well,
that makes sense.
that's deserved, to be honest. The
Yeah.
way that they, like, how much food did he have on that plate? And he was just, like, shoving it down his throat. So I was like, no sympathy for you there, to be honest.
Wow, you think he deserved to be turned into a pig?
I do.
I disagree.
Well,
I feel like it's a bit of a harsh thing. They were
No.
planning to pay for the food,
okay, you don't do that. You at least wait for someone to come.
I guess.
And aren't you even like, because they're walking around and they think it's all abandoned, and then they just see all this food cooking. They don't think it's like weird that they want to.
Yeah, they didn't really question it much.
No, they're just like food.
Oh, it's an abandoned theme park that has a fresh buffet for some reason. Let's eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they didn't get turned into pigs, then the whole film would be for nothing. So, or there wouldn't be a point to the film, I guess.
Well, you say it's the point of the film,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess to a certain extent it is, because she's not going to go without her parents.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really make me feel that way until closer to the end, when she's like, oh, or is it? It's the other guy, Haku.
Haiku, yeah.
Haku.
Haki, something.
Where he makes a deal with Yubaba.
Yeah.
Saying that she should set her parents free and everything. It didn't make me feel like throughout the film that was her goal. Like, I knew it was, because obviously it would be, but the thing, she didn't seem too bothered about it. Apart from the few scenes that were dotted around where she was bothered about it, she like suddenly remembered that it felt like that her parents were pigs.
She kind of had to get herself safe first, because she was threatened about the whole like, I'm going to kill you if you don't work for me thing. So I didn't feel that way. I felt like she was like getting into a position where she could save her parents, which she then did.
It was just my overall. It was my problem with the film overall, in that I didn't know what was going on for the whole time. I don't mean I was. I was confused about the world also, but I was just like, this is very sort of like, what's the point? Like, what are we doing? And like, I felt that way for like the whole thing, and. Well, not to begin with, because obviously I was waiting for the moment where I was like, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So to begin with, I was kind of just taking it all in, and I was like, oh, this, the world is really cool, and look at all these ghosts coming off a boat. This is nice, and it's a ghost spa. I wasn't expecting it to be about that, so I was kind of taking it all in to begin with. But then it got to a point where, I was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Oh, how would you propose that they fix that or change that?
All right. I don't know. Don't put me on the spot like that.
No, I get what you mean, but at the same time, I can forgive that, because there's not much she could have done. Because if she like completely focused on trying to save her parents, what if she ended up forgetting her name, who she really was, and then she'd be lost to the Yubaba forever.
I suppose I just would have liked a little bit more agency from her, from Chihiro.
Mm-hmm.
Which I get, she's in a pretty tricky situation, but it feels like she didn't have that until the end, which I suppose in a way you could call character growth.
Yeah,
but
maturing.
It was just too little too late for me, because, we'll get to it later, but the ending felt really rushed to me.
So here's something that I did, right, for some reason. Obviously, this is a Japanese film.
Yes.
The names of the characters are Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured the names of these characters probably have some meaning in English. So as we met new characters, I wrote down their name and found out their meaning in English.
Well,
So
pray
I
tell.
would love to share with you. So Chihiro, our protagonist, in English, that means 1,000 questions.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense. You know, she has 1,000 questions about this place.
As do I.
Well, what questions do you have? Probably can't answer them, but
Firstly, what's their issue with humans? Because
they're not spirits.
And I get that, but it seemed like a lot of the people at the place were also human, and nobody seemed to have a problem with them. Like
Well-
Lynn, for example, she seemed pretty human, as did a lot of the other women. But they're all like, human, you
But they'd been
stink.
converted or something.
Have they?
Much like Chihiro was converted to. She was still human, but she was like once because they lost their original names. So once they forgot their original names and they forgot like who they used to be, they're not fully human anymore, or something like that.
Okay, is that just you?
That would be my my theory behind that.
Because
But yeah, and also they said the thing about they smell funny.
And I didn't understand what the deal was with Ghost Friend, No Face.
Yeah, it was pretty clingy to
Yeah,
her.
it wasn't. I just didn't get what was going on. He was on that bridge to begin with,
Yeah.
and he was kind of just chilling there. I guess it's one of those things where he needs to be let in,
Mm-hmm.
like a vampire. You have to invite a vampire into your home first
Didn't know
before they
that.
can come in. So I guess it's a similar thing with him because she left the door open for him.
Yeah.
And he wandered in, and he was being super helpful and everything to Chihiro, and I was like, oh, cool, she's got a ghost pal. But then he just started eating people, and then he was taking on the characteristics of those people. He grew some hair as well. I don't know where that came from because he ate a frog, but he grew some hair.
Well, he ate a second person.
He
right
had
after
the hair
frog.
before that though.
Did he?
Yes.
Before eating the frog as well?
No.
He ate
No-
the frog
no
and then
hair.
got the hair.
He ate the frog that did not have any hair. Next scene we see him, he's got hair,
But in that same scene, he ate someone else.
but he already had the hair.
Well,
He's got
I
a
didn't.
big mop of brown hair for some reason.
Yeah, the hair looked weird.
I
can't go with that.
But yeah, so I just didn't understand, and he was giving everybody gold, and I just didn't see what was happening. And then he just spat everybody out after Chihiro gave him that thing to make him throw up.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, that was to turn him back to his, or like remember his old self or something.
and then he just tagged along on the train, and then he stayed with.
She didn't even say bye to him. That's
No.
what upset me the most. She didn't. It wasn't even like any recognition. Like, I see ya.
Yeah, like you would have thought it'd be somewhat emotional
Yeah.
because that's like an attachment. And like, but he didn't seem bothered that he was staying. He didn't even make
No.
a choice. The woman was just like, "You can stay with me and help me,"
It's like,
and he was just like, "All right." And then they just leave. And so I don't understand what the point of him was. I don't understand what the relationship was for.
Well, I think it's supposed to be showing you the greed of the people that were there already and how much they had been maybe corrupted by that place, how much they were willing to go just to get some gold. And then Chihiro, who was still like unchanged by that place, she was the only one not interested in the gold. She was the only one that was actually still human.
I see.
That's what I took from it.
Fair enough. You probably got a point there.
Thank you. But yeah, some of that is a bit weird. I think he just looks dumb with the hair.
Oh yeah, it was really and just.
Otherwise, I think he looks pretty cool.
I did like him when he was just his normal sort of slender self.
Yeah,
I don't like it when that mouth appears
it's pretty creepy.
under. He's already got a mouth.
But that shows, right? Here we go.
Oh, go on.
Here's something for you. So he goes there, right? He's all slim and nice looking. He goes there. He gets corrupted.
Yes.
By his own greed. We're getting somewhere.
Okay.
So the greed of the other people feeds into his own greed. It's like a vicious cycle.
Oh, yeah.
And then his greed feeds their greed. And it's just endless greed until she breaks the cycle by giving him the ball of
Stuff.
non-greed. Yeah. And then leads him away.
Okay.
So, sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, no face.
No face. Even though he did have a face.
He had a mask.
Aren't we all wearing masks, really?
So Heiku,
What was his deal?
the Dragon Man. Well, let me just say what his name means real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it has 3 meanings. 4 meanings.
Gosh.
3.
Wish my name had a meaning.
Same.
We'd have the
name.
same meaning.
So the first meaning, which originally I thought was a bit like, this one's irrelevant, but white. But by the end, he becomes a white dragon, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe there's relevance there. Eldest brother.
Okay.
Kind of irrelevant. But then chief official or soul.
Okay.
I don't know what the all soul part is, but chief official, he was, Master Heiku. So doesn't that just make sense?
I guess.
It's just quite a literal translation, I guess.
Yeah.
Same with, I might as well do the other ones. Kamaji, he was
Yeah.
the spider dude.
It's a bit like Dr. Eggman.
Yeah. His name literally translates to Old Boiler Man, or Man at the Old Boiler.
He's an old boiler man.
That's exactly what he is. And then the elderly woman, Yubaba, translates to elderly woman of the hot water, which she was. She was an elderly woman of the spa water.
Wow.
So it's kind of funny. It's like watching Star Wars and then you have Luke called like hero or something,
Yeah. Anyway, so what's Haku's deal?
What's his deal?
Yeah.
I'm
talking mainly towards the end when it's revealed.
He's a dragon boy.
No, not when after that, when it's revealed how he knows Chihiro.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that was.
He saved her from a river.
But he is the river?
Oh. Well, his full name, his actual, human name, okay, I don't know how to pronounce it. We'll say Naiji Hamaya Naijai Nai Jihamu Kohaku Nushi. That's his actual human name, which means God of the Swift Amber River. So he's the god of the river. He isn't the river.
Right.
He was looking after the river.
Gotcha.
And then saved her.
Because I didn't quite understand. So he's a god
of a river. So relative, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, it did make me laugh quite when Chihiro reveals his name to him. Like, she says, "Oh, Haku, I remember your real name," and then she says, "It's Kahaku." Like she says, that's not like his full name because she says it the full, but she says that portion. She just says Kahaku, and I was like, that's like saying, "Oh, Dan, I remember your name. It's Daniel."
Yeah.
But yeah.
that was a dubbing thing, or like a subtitle thing, lost in translation. What did you think of the music?
I love the music.
That's good, because so do I.
I noticed it straight away. There's a lot of music in the film. There's very few moments that I remember where there was
no music.
No music.
Yeah.
But it was quite similar, and this isn't me saying that these all sound the same because they don't. But it was quite similar to a lot of music that I've heard in other Japanese, like mainly video games, because I don't consume a lot of Japanese media. But they've always got these really rich, like kind of, I was going to say luscious scores where they all have that quality about them. They're just really, really beautiful.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. I mean, yeah, I love that music. It's all the Ghibli music is pretty similar, but that's not a bad thing because it's nice for what it is.
Yeah.
We maybe be adding some of that to your scores playlist.
I was thinking about it.
I like the chilled back music more than the intense stuff. The intense stuff is fine, but I like the.
That was definitely the sort of music I noticed the most when it was usually just like a piano.
Yeah, which is weird. That's what you would think you wouldn't notice.
I think it's probably because it complemented those more serene moments a lot better than you've got more of an opportunity to take in something like the music when it's that sort of moment rather than when it's action and you're just thinking what's happening.
That's true. This is kind of going back a bit. We're going all over the place, but that's fine. When Heiku, when he originally speaks to Chihiro, he says, "I've known you since you were small," and at the time, it seemed pretty weird to me.
Because she is small.
Because she's 10. And how old is he?
Probably like 1 million.
Should we find out?
Go on. Because he's like a weird god person.
12.
He's 12.
Oh, okay. He appears to be around 12. That's from the official Haiku wiki, or even the Ghibli wiki, whatever.
He is
But
12.
he seemed to be the same age as her, and they're both still small, and he remembers her from when she was small. I just found that weird. Maybe it's not that weird.
No. That's my input.
So, Yubaba has the Force. What did you think of that? The fact that she's like all magical, but then nobody else is.
Well, she's a witch.
So you think it's okay?
Well, I just
thought that
I didn't really pay much attention to it to begin with. I was just like, well, this is a magical world. Some people have magic, I guess.
But shouldn't there be a balance? Shouldn't there be a bad guy with magic or a bad gal with magic?
Well, we were sort of led to... Well, I think she is the bad gal with magic.
Sorry, no, a good gal or a good guy.
Well, they're twins, aren't they? So there are two.
You are exactly right.
And she turned out to be pretty nice in the end.
Yeah. They didn't look any different.
They're twins.
I know, but they could have made
Even
the
down
warts
to
a
the
different
jewellery.
colour or something.
Yeah. No,
so close. I hadn't seen this for ages, so I couldn't really remember. But at one point, I was like, "Is this the same person? Is she doing like a crazy like?"
She's doing a bit.
Yeah. Gonna be a big reveal. Gotcha. Same.
I don't really blame that baby for not being able to recognise her.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. You look exactly the same.
Her nose as well, massive.
Jesus.
Her nose was bigger than Gahiro's face.
Well, all of these spirit, or if they were spirits, whatever they were that worked there, the ones that didn't look quite human were just like massive.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just part of the world there.
Well, yeah, but
weird.
Uncomfortably large.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a nose that big.
No.
And if those babies are that size as
Christ.
babies, I mean...
That baby really confused me.
Which one? The 3-headed one or the other one that was a mouse?
Well, firstly, I just want to... Because this is... That baby was a psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just lying there in those cushions and Chihiro's there and he's like, play with me. And then she's like, no, I gotta go. And then he's like, play with me or I will break your arm.
Yeah.
So that was... And then a similar thing happens later where... what's Yubaba's sister's name?
Good Yubaba.
It began with a V.
I didn't write it down. Should we find out the meaning of her name?
Oh, go on.
And her name at the same time.
Veniba.
Okay, her name is Zeniba.
Didn't begin with a V at all.
Which apparently means money witch.
Okay.
Which seems odd.
Yeah, witch. Alright.
I don't...
I would have thought it'd be the other way round.
Yeah, but what... Yeah. Because then, the other one, Elderly Woman of the Hot Water, Swamp Water. That's weird, actually.
Strange. Maybe there's a reason for that.
Lost in translation.
I don't think you can blame everything on that.
I can try. What were you going to say about her?
Me?
Yeah.
About who?
Zeniba.
Yeah. Oh, when she pops up as well, and she's speaking to Chihiro, she's like, shut up or do this, whatever. And then she's like, if you don't, I'll rip your mouth out. And I'm just like, everybody's so violent. It was really upsetting.
She is the twin of Yubaba, though. Can't blame her.
But it's alright because she's nice at the end.
Yeah.
She turns the baby into a mouse.
Yes.
Turns the...
Cute. I like that mouse and what was the other thing?
Really weak bird.
Yeah, weak bird combo.
But she turned that bigger bird that also had the head of Yubaba
yeah.
into a tiny insect-sized bird that could barely carry the mouse. I didn't like that. The fact that so far into the film she just randomly gains a couple of quirky animal sidekicks.
I like that.
That's
cute.
I didn't understand what they were for, why they were there.
They would be cute, quirky sidekicks.
Especially since No Face went along with her as well. It's like, God, there's a lot of sidekicks you've just acquired. I just didn't see any point for it.
Well,
it was a bit Disney.
Ghibli is the Japanese Disney.
Speaking of which,
and also owned by Disney.
Are they? I don't think so.
I think they are.
Are they?
Oh, okay. Disney distributes the films.
Oh, okay.
But doesn't own them.
Speaking of Disney,
Mm-hmm.
that thing was a lot like the Pixar lamp.
That thing.
That lamp.
That lamp.
Towards the end, had a lamp on a stick with a little foot hopping about. Made a little squeaky noise as it hopped. I was like, that's the Pixar lamp.
I don't even remember that.
And it really,
I remember the lamp waving.
he did little hops. He was hopping about. And I was like, that's got to be like an homage, surely. It is so much like the Pixar lamp.
Must have been.
I didn't like how they were supposedly in love with each other.
Yeah.
Chihiro and Haku. That kind of came out of left field a bit.
Who was it that said, like, the power of love?
It was either Kamaji or Lin. One of them two. They were like, oh, love.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Oh, thanks for letting us know.
It's a good job you said it, because otherwise I wouldn't have known. Because, yeah, that didn't really... I mean, I understand that they probably they were quite fond of each other, because he was helping her and she would grow attached to him, obviously, because he would become her anchor in this new world.
Mm-hmm. But
he fucks off anyway for a bit.
Yeah.
And then he comes back later, and everybody's just like, oh, they're in love. Isn't that nice? And I was like, are they? Okay.
Well, I kind of got that only from the last scene when they're flying together.
Which,
I felt it a little bit then. I was like,
At that point, I bought it. I was like, oh, yeah.
They shouldn't have ruined it early on, though. They shouldn't have been like, oh, it's all about love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was not developed well, I thought.
I think this viewing, I saw a lot more of the negative than I have in the past.
Ooh.
Which is a shame, because, nostalgia is a powerful thing. But watching it as a more, an older man, not quite as, I can take off the rose-tinted glasses a little bit, Which is kind of a shame.
There's just something about it that just really didn't connect with me at all. I admire the animation, all the sort of technical aspects of it, because obviously that would have been a pain to do, and it would have taken a lot of hard work, and all the music, like all of that is great, but just the story itself didn't click with me, and so as it went on, when the novelty of the world kind of started to wear off, I was just like, right, well, what's going on then? Why is that big mud thing? Why has it got a bike inside it? And why does he then turn into a snake thing and he flies away? And then why are there like paper aeroplanes?
Was that ever explained?
And then the paper aeroplane becomes Zeniba.
Yeah.
And was she all of the paper airplanes, or was she just that one? And like things just kept happening, and I was like, now the baby's a hamster. Now there's 3 heads of the baby.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I just found it tiresome.
Fair enough. It still holds a special place in my heart. It's a feel-good film.
Did it make you feel good though? I know you did say that earlier, but really?
Yeah. Just the world mostly, especially the first half. I'd say it just feels like magical to me. Takes me back to watching it as a kid and being like, wow, because it's such a, I'd want to go there. I want to explore those streets at night and just see what's popping.
Okay.
Because I like how a lot of the film is set at night as well. Because I like night more than day. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
No.
Night just feels, warm to me.
Night feels warm as opposed to day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a special feeling about night, though, isn't there? It feels like mysterious, but yeah, homely.
Wonderful.
But hey, that's a completely different thing. Do you want to rate it out of 1 to 42?
Oh God.
Would you watch it again?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think it was a bad film.
No.
It just wasn't for me, personally. And it left me with that kind of feeling, which I think is the worst feeling to have coming out of the film. Where it's not that I didn't like it, but I was just like, God, what am I trying to say? What I said earlier. I just found it really tiresome. So when it finally got to the end, I was like, thank God for that. But
it's a shame.
I know that I'm obviously in the very small minority because this is a beloved film. I looked up some reviews at the end, and everybody was going wild for it, and I was like, I wish I felt that way.
Well, so you enjoyed the music and the art style.
Yeah.
So knowing that other Ghibli films use the same music, very similar music, and the same art style.
Yeah.
Does this now make you want to watch other Ghibli films?
I'm still interested in exploring their film library.
Maybe on a future week of this podcast, I could tell you to watch one.
You could.
We could discuss it much like this.
Yes. But at the same time, I'm in no rush to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, so I still would like to, but after this experience, I'm thinking, and especially with how I think I feel about Kiki's Delivery Service as well, even though it's been a while since we watched that. Maybe they just are going to end up not really being for me, but we'll see in future.
Yeah, well, there are quite a few. There's at least 15, so because this was the 15th.
Okay, so there's a lot more then.
Well, so I have 2 Blu-rays over there. I have Kiki's Delivery Service and Spirited Away, and on the top it says 5 and 15. So I would assume this is the 15th.
That would make sense.
But maybe not. Let's say Studio Ghibli timeline.
Is the first one My Neighbor Totoro?
No.
No. Okay. I just thought it would be because the big dude out of that was like there was the logo at the start for the Studio Ghibli title. That's why I made that assumption.
You're wrong anyway. No, I've actually never heard of this one. It was released just before the studio's official founding. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Catchy.
Yeah. My Neighbor Totoro was the 4th.
Okay. Oh.
Kiki was the 5th. And then this was the 13th. Maybe I can't read. Yeah, 13th. So there you go.
What was the last one they did? Because I don't feel like... There must have been one since, but the last one I remember seeing, because I remember seeing adverts for it when I was a kid, was Ponyo.
Ponyo. That was 2008.
Yeah. So there's got to have been a couple since.
There's been quite a few since then. When Marnie was there was the most recent. And I remember thinking, hey, I should watch that. And I haven't.
Oh.
Yeah. Or in Japanese, it's called...
Go on.
Omaid no Mani.
Okay.
I didn't butcher that completely.
No.
Or maybe I did.
Well, neither of us would know.
Okay, well, I mean, that's about it from me.
Wow, that was a very sudden wrap up.
Well,
are you done now?
I don't have anything else to say on the matter.
Okay. Well, okay, I guess we're done then.
Do you?
Well, let me have a quick look through the notes. No, I guess not.
Well, I guess you should reveal to me what I should watch for next week.
Yes, well, I can't have you... obviously, you've recommended to me something international. Can't have you coming across as the more cultured one of the two. So, I take your Spirited Away and I raise you Parasite from last year.
Okay.
Directed by...
Oscar winner.
Bong
Best Picture winner.
Yes.
I've heard good things.
Well, it is good things.
Well, I wouldn't know because I've not seen it. So, tune in next week for that.
Please do.
Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Spotify.
Hell yeah.
That's mental. Go on there. Anything else you'd like to add?
The podcast is called Can't Believe You Haven't Seen. Just in case you've forgotten.
Yeah.
The viewers. I mean, not you, even though you do forget.
Well, I forgot at the beginning. All right.
No, that's
no.
it. Catch you next week.
Perfect ending. Thanks for watching, by the way.
Are we still going?
Yeah.